Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So firstly, you can see I've got a very weird setup. My apologies for that. Sometimes things just happen. Okay, so today we are uh, recapping the day 2 of the Champions Chess Tour finals. So I've got 4 games to show you, and then we'll get into the results. So the first game I'm going to show you is Aronian versus Denis Lazavik. Yesterday, Denis Lazavik won 3 games, lost none, and Aronian lost 3 games and won none. So today it is Dennis will look to continue his streak, and Lavan will look to end his streak. So we have Dennis with the white pieces, and he goes and plays. Excuse me. He plays a Reti. So we get a reverse ready, and he's going for this Fianchetto setup with the dark squared bishop. The Reti, you generally don't touch these pawns just yet. You kind of play a bit of it in a cagey way, looking for a result. So here, e3, and now we're also getting Levon, who will also be developing his dark squared bishop. This also happens, you can start with b3, and you can play bishop to b2 on this kind of setup and play it like this. Bishop to g7, castles, rook e1. Normal stuff so far. Uh, d6, now the light squared bishop can move. Now we get d4, building in the center. Takes, and the light squared bishop comes out. Not Levon, white reinforces their knight, which is Dennis at this point. Rook c8. Uh, we get h3, just asking this bishop where it's going to go. It can't retreat that way, so it's got to go back that diagonal or take. It goes back to f5, and then we get this move a3, just not allowing the knight in that way. We get a6, asking the bishop what it's doing, because it's not actually pinning this knight to anything. So Levon asks what it's doing. The bishop retreats back to f1. It looks stupid, but anywhere else it would have been a target. And then we get the move um, d5, just strengthening the center. And now, because we were having everything kind of lining up on this pawn, with the rook also going to be coming in soon, uh, Dennis pushes it forward. It does block this bishop, but you can maybe reroute this bishop this way in the future. The knight plants itself in the center, and this knight comes out this way, trying to win the bishop, trying to get the bishop pair. Levant says you can take the bishop, so he takes. But now this pawn could be used, to strengthen the knight. So you don't want to take it. You don't want to take it because this is quite strong for black. You can see it's like 0.7. So instead, knight to f3 is the better move. Although it isn't really. You probably should have taken the knight because, as I said, it's very strong. Yes, the pawn wedge gets in there, but it's not that problematic right now because, as it is, Levant is slightly better. And his queen comes out, putting pressure on here. And then we get this move b4, and this position is very delicate. We get knight a5. You can take this, but then I take this, and everything kind of falls. So we get rook to c1. The knight comes out, and snap take. But now you don't take with the pawn, you take with the rook because we're going to bring the other rook and just put pressure on this position. It's a little bit overextended, so the rook slides back after you get it kicked out, and knight reroutes itself. Again, lots of maneuvering. That's the type of position you get, and there we go. Look at that. The knight finds a nice outpost for itself, but we get this move a5, just targeting the center. Apologies if I seem really tired. Um, I almost like just woke up. Okay, so we get the move b5, attacking the rook. The rook slides over, and then a4, just solidifying everything on the queen side. Rook to c8, and we just keep maneuvering these pieces. And Levant's just always slightly better, just causing more problems for Dennis. Yes, you can kick back the pieces, but where are you doing? White has all the targets. What are you targeting in black's position? It's not easy. So we trade off the bishops. Apologies for that yawn. We trade off the bishops. But now the knight plops itself nicely on the square. It got kicked out from here, but now it's found its way here. And now you can't kick it out with b pawn. The b-pawn's over there. So the queen slides over, and the knight looks to plant itself. You can always push on pawn there if you want to kick it out. But we build up the rooks, so we kick out the knight, and now look at this. Nice maneuver. It's still very much level. There are occasions where Levon is slightly better, but the accuracy is not that easy in a rapid game when you're running low on time. But look at this. Nice, look at this. Now he's in. Now he's going to be finding ways to win some pawns. The queen slides over desperately. We bring the king. The queens could be traded, but you want to keep them honest for as long as can. So if we take with the rook. Apologies that I'm yawning again. Okay, and now the knight comes in. Take, rook takes, and we plop the knight in the center. But it gets traded, and this rook endgame is always going to be slightly better for black. That's a weakness. That's a weakness. That's a weakness. That's a weakness. White just has more weaknesses, and you can't defend all of them. So we sacrifice the pawn for activity, but it's just too easy for black. And Levant from here plays a really fantastic endgame, and he outplays Dennis. He solidifies this. He doesn't let Dennis get at too many of his weaknesses, and this endgame is just winning for black. It looks like a draw, but you can't take that pawn because check, and I win the rook, and none of these pawns get through in time. So Levon Aronian ends his streak. He defeats Denis Lazavik. Okay, next game, the Battle of the Frenchmen. Alireza Firouzja versus Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. We want to see Alireza yesterday had a bit of a mixed day, but today he was really on fire. So another Reti, and we saw this in the World Championship with the pawn being pushed to d5, and there was c5 played, I believe, with ding with the white pieces, and then there was b4. But now we're just getting b4, g5. It's crazy. So look at this. This is not how you play normal French. These players are playing some really exciting stuff. But eventually we kind of get a normal structure. The knight could probably go there. This Dogsworth bishop might come out to this way, or it's going to struggle to go out that way. The queen's active because you're going to start pushing on the queen side. Black's already committed heavily to the king side with these pawns and then castling, so the knight plops itself in the center. And we get this move to just not allow the structure to come forward. Knight's now looking to get itself in to f4. And then we get this move h4, just looking to pry away at the structure, open up the h file for white's rook. So it takes, and we sacrifice this pawn. Well, sacrifice is a strong word, because if you take, I could take with this knight, or the bishop. We take like this, not en passant, very important, not en passant. It looks good, but you're just helping black. You're just helping black. So instead, we take like this, and we hit the bishop. Because yes, you can take my knight, but I take this bishop and then I threaten the rook. So take, I plop the knight in first, and when you shove this pawn forward, now the bishop is disconnected from the knight. I can take this bishop, which is now a fork of everything. The queen slides over, and I can just leave my knight there. It's just a threat. This bishop's not going anywhere. If you take, I can take the rook, and it's a discovered check, or I can take this. So the queen takes with check. Don't know if you noticed, everything lining up here on f2, but the king escapes, and the king's fine for the moment. So the bishop takes, we take the rook, discover check, and now we pin the queen. And Firouzja's now winning. Firouzja's now winning. Maxime missed something, and now Firouzja is just up a queen for a bishop, effectively. Not quite a bishop. So it's queen, rook, bishop versus, yeah, knight, knight, rook. So uh, Firouzja is effectively up a queen for a knight, or a minor piece rather. And from here, it's just about converting. He plays bishop here, threatening the exchange, and there's a mate also. So here, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave resigns, and Firouzja wins against Maxime. Okay, one last game before we get to the main event of the games that I have to show you. Levon Aronian versus Wesley So. And here we had just straight up e4, d6. And this was a very fascinating game because it was a Pierce or King's Indian, depending on how you want to view it. Uh, and we get this very cagey setup by Wesley. So by this point in the match, Levon had won the first game, so Wesley has to play with a win with the black pieces. So we're gonna see what happens here. And Levon, he can draw and win the mini match. But in this kind of setup, you can't just play passively because then black gets everything they want. So you've got to play aggressively, and because of that, white is just extremely better. Uh, Wesley's been very provocative. You made this move, and you've brought your bishop this way, you've brought your rook this way. This is not how you're meant to play. So take, queen slides over, the king comes, and you just take. And after this, you take again, and now look at this. We just win everything, and Wesley so resigns, and Levon wins another game. Okay, the final game I have to show you. Magnus Carlsen, Ali Reza Firouzja. This was a fascinating game. So, knight f3, another reti. It's the third reti I've showed you. d5, uh, g3. So this is more of a pure reti, as opposed to like the b3 setup or like c5. This looks more like a pure reti. Yeah, just like this. This is what you want when you play the reti. Black takes space in the center, and you're going to strike again. It's almost like a reverse King's Indian. So look at this. Now the knight retreats, and you could repeat moves. There's a way you repeat moves, but they won't do that. So now look at this. You want to go extract that dark squared bishop and trade it off. Black castles, and you can just wait. You develop your knight. This is always a threat. The knight retreats, and we get e4. Building in the center. Take, and the light squared bishop comes out. h3, bishop takes. So this is important to note. I didn't tell you this at the start, and I should have. This is the Armageddon game. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Firouzja won one and Magnus won one. So this is the Armageddon game, and Firouzja got the black pieces. So he is down on time, but a draw is a win for black. So let's see if Magnus can push. He's got to push and be aggressive. So you see, he's going for this. He's got to push and be aggressive and try and generate a win. Armageddons are always better for black because two results favor you, although you have less time. But the time kind of equalizes when you get into this type of position, because it's Firouzja that's posing a lot of problems. Um, so we get en passant, take, and a5. And Magnus, these kind of pawns are a bit delicate. This knight in the center is a bit delicate. His king now, because you've pushed all these pawns, is a bit delicate. So we get queen e1, protecting the pawn. Then rook comes in, and we want to keep this knight here as long as we can. It's a very good piece, but eventually all of black's pieces now have come and are asking what's going on. We are looking at this knight, and eventually you will try and win it back, like with a move like this. Not right away, because take and then the rooks take each other. Yeah, so we double the rooks. How do you play chess like this? Sorry, I think my view just shifted. Yeah, it did. I don't know why chess.com's got this weird glitch now, where it keeps shifting the board. It happened in yesterday's recap and I didn't pick it up, but I picked it up today. Okay. I just admire this move because it looks so stupid to me. How do you play a move like Queen A7 and be like, yeah, that's the best move? Because yes, my queen might be in trouble here. I think it's better placed over there because it protects the rook, and I think it's just better on A7. It's just incredible to me. Take. And the knight plops itself in the center, disconnects all the defense of that knight. So you attack the queen first, but that allows a fork, kind of, because it's take, and you take the rook. Now the rook is hanging, and the bishop, so you've got to move the rook. You move the rook, the bishop gets taken, and this is very drawish because these pawns will fall most likely, and this is all on the same side. So Magnus is winning chances in this endgame with minimal time. There's always a possibility you miss something with the knights, but I mean these players are too good. So we do lose that pawn, but we get it back, and there's nothing here. It's so solid. You can't find any weaknesses. Magnus tries and tries and tries, but there's nothing here. And you're just going to trade off all the pawns. And here the players agree to a draw, and Firouzja beats Magnus in the Armageddon. Okay, so now let's go look at all the day's results and what really happened, and the final standings after the second day. Okay, I'm glad you've reached this portion of the video, so let's have a look at the day's results and then the final table after today. So the round 4 results, as I said, uh, we've seen Aronian, he defeated Dennis Lazavik, Vincent Keimer beat Wesley So, Magnus Carlsen beat MVL, and Alireza Firouzja beat Jan Nepomniachtchi. It was a very good day for Alireza. In round 4 is what I showed you, with Alireza defeating Magnus Carlsen, and that brought the whole field closer together. Aronian picked up a second win against Wesley So, and Jan Nepomniachtchi won the Battle of the Russians when he defeated Dennis Lazavik. So that was 2 L's straight for Dennis. So let's move on then to round 6, where Magnus Carlsen beats Aronian, ends his mini winning streak, and Alireza picks up a third win of the day. He defeats Maxim Vachier-Lagrave, and then Dennis Lazavik ends his losing streak for the day, so he gets himself to 4 points. He defeats Wesley So, and then Jan Nepomniachtchi, Vincent Keimer, Jan Nepomniachtchi defeat Vincent Keimer in the Armageddon. So let's have a look at the final standings after day 2 in round 6 in the round robins. It is led by Magnus Carlsen, but he's got a 1 point advantage over Jan Nepomniachtchi, Dennis Lazavik, and Alireza Firouzja. Now, if Magnus wins his game tomorrow, he finishes top no matter what. There's a scenario where he loses and Firouzja maybe goes top. I'm not sure on the exact tie breaks. The most important thing is you want to finish 1 and 2. What's more interesting is who's going to finish 7 and 8. Wesley So and Aronian are in trouble, but Levon is tied on points with Vincent Keimer and MVL. So those who finish 7 and 8 are immediately eliminated, and 3 to 6 play the survival stage. That will be played tomorrow as well, and I will cover it. So it'll be a very fascinating day. There's 1 round left, and just about anything can happen. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment on how I can improve and what you'd like to see, and subscribe if you'd like to see more from me.